Absolutely. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift, episode 110. We got a very special treat today. A very special guest. Could not be more excited about. But first, we're going to bring on my iconic co-pilot, my partner in crime, the sex goose, Big Dave Meltzer. Johnny, I see you in here, brother. We're going to bring you on in less than five. Less than five. Kelly Siegel in the house. Big Mike. Waiting for Big Dave. And let's get this party started. Got a little bit of a rainy day out here in the Big Apple. I'd love to know how all y'all are doing. Flying after 15 out of 10.
Hey, what's going on? Happy birthday,
How you
man.
doing, you sex goose? How are you?
Happy birthday.
Can you hear me? Thank you so much.
How old are you?
I really appreciate that, Dave. 38
Nice.
years young.
You don't look it. So,
Yeah. What,
34.
how old do I look? Okay. What was going on with you at
Yes,
38? Do
I
you
do.
remember?
I was 38 was a rebound for me, so I was on it, man. It was good. I had lost everything, already back making millions, so it was the start of the new Dave Meltzer here. Yeah, exactly.
Back to the
It was
reinvention.
a good year.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. We have a special guest on today. I'm going to be more excited to bring him on. But first, as always, we're going to hit you with a couple nuggets. You know, Dave, most people that I know, sadly, are not doing what they love. Most people don't really go for it, so to speak. I was one of those cats for a long time.
Well,
Why
first of
is
all, they
that?
think that there is inherently love in what you do, um, that is exposed without any effort. And so, you say you weren't in love with what you do, but you were in love with the money that you were making. And so, what you didn't realize is that you could learn to love anything that you do, and that the love is inside of your activities. And so many people are attached to the outcomes. They believe in the wrong God, and they find in empty gods empty feelings and empty purpose. And so I was in the same boat. um, I learned to love what I do and everything I do. So sleep, meditation, paradigm shift for 100 and whatever episodes it is. 110. Next week's the special episode because that's the Dave Meltzer 111 episode, which is my birthday, 111. So that's a special number to me. But yeah, people, if they literally listen to how we find love, right? We enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of our own potential. And so, even if you were still on Wall Street, Craig, you would be a different person. Yeah, right. If I could take you right now from what you've learned when you left Wall Street, put you back onto Wall Street, you would be a fulfilled, purposeful, passionate person that made more money than you make today. Um, but now that you've got a taste that you can learn to love anything, you might as well pick things that you have a higher basement at, that your skills, your knowledge, and your desire is more aligned with, because you have that mindset. You won't choose to go back, but you easily could. You easily could, and you would enjoy it much more. You wouldn't have the same experience you had previously.
True. Fair enough. Fair enough. But what we do, and it's not exactly the same, but I feel like it's the most rewarding, fulfilling thing in the world, especially when you impact so many people. That's the real validation,
Yeah,
the real
but
ROI.
like if you went back as a Wall Street guy, you could impact more people. You would impact more people. You wouldn't just be the world happening for you. That the world of Wall Street would happen through you. It's just that the basement you have is much higher than that vibration or frequency that's on Wall Street, because you won't want to surround yourself with all the scarce energy and all the things that you've learned that were impacting you or interfering with you and your potential.
You really are a sex goose.
Yeah,
You said your
January
birthday is
11th.
111, correct? That's
There you
also the birthday of
go.
our brand new
And my
puppy.
puppy's 1 2, January 2nd. So, but she's now 5. And there there's no such
Not a
thing, my friend.
coincidence,
It's
Dave.
what you pay attention to and what you give attention to. So basically, what God did was he said, look, I know your favorite furry being is David Meltzer, born January 11th. Let me give you a new furry favorite and let you cuddle and snuggle to remind you 111 every day with your dear furry friend. I'm like the brown Grover. You know,
That's
there's
it.
like Elmo is the red Grover. Dave Meltzer is the brown Grover.
I love you. I'm going to bring on Jon Venus right now. I'm very excited about it. While I do, I'm going to
Uh,
ask you a quick weird question. It's not that weird. In this season of life right now, Dave, what, if
Well, I
anything, do you
fear
fear?
a whole bunch of things every day, right? I fear the past and I fear the future every single day. Approximately about 8 times a day, I have to stop, drop, and roll to remind, remember, and recollect what I'm connected to and through. Something bigger than me that knows everything and loves me more than I'm mom. But at its core, I'm afraid of the past and the meaning that I'm given the mistakes, failures, setbacks, defining moments, successes, historical references of the past. And I'm afraid of the future with anxiety and fear to what I can be and limiting myself with that fear. Talk about studs. Look at this guy, man. Is he actually at the gym still?
Just got back.
Johnny, how you doing, brother? Thanks
I'm
for
doing
joining
very
us.
well.
How are
Thank you
you?
so much for inviting me on. It's exciting.
Yeah, hell yeah. And for our community and audience who might not be familiar, our biggest suggestion is to do a deep dive, check out all the awesome stuff that you have going on. What I think will be most powerful today is we just dive right in. One of the many cool things that you talk about, Jon, is energy management. And I imagine there's a lot of people out there like, what exactly does that mean? How would you articulate energy
Yeah,
management?
that's a great question, and it can be seen in so many different ways, and you can use so many different metaphors and words to describe the same thing. But essentially, the way that I try to explain to people that I've never heard about energy and how to use that to your advantage to reach your goals, to reach your highest potential, to just feel amazing, is essentially paying attention to how you're feeling on a moment to moment basis and understanding that every single moment your body is telling you, there's a feedback mechanism telling you whether or not you are in alignment with your truest values, your highest purpose, and when you're going array and going astray and a different route that you really shouldn't be doing, and your soul doesn't feel like it's aligned. So, and it's not a perfect method of, a lot of people think that you have to be high energy, high vibration, high vitality 24/7. That's not how it works. We're going to be up and down. It's a roller coaster every single day. We're going to be challenged, and in many ways the more challenged you are, the more stress you go under, the better the rebound is going to be in many ways, if the stress is in alignment with achieving your highest purpose and your goals. And so it's really just a way of looking at how efficient your day-to-day is in terms of reaching what you are trying to reach, or developing yourself to the best version of yourself. And so we have to make sure that our energy is at least a few times a day peaking, and trying to keep it as high as possible, and making sure that when it does fall, we're mindful and conscious about why it falls, and when it rises again, why it rises. And that's how we can start to learn what our triggers are for, what gets us down, what gets us sad, depressed, anxious, by just, trying to observe and analyze our thoughts. And the same with, when you feel excited, passionate, motivated, and pumped up, analyzing what exactly is going on, what is happening right now, this second, that is making me feel this motivated and pumped up. And then just have a log in your mind of what actually gets you closer to the purpose, and what gets you high energy, and what kind of activities, what kind of people, what kind of environments get you down. And trying to manage that as efficiently as possible is going to be one of the best tools to achieve your goals.
Bye.
Yeah,
Talk
absolutely.
about a
Well,
stud right
I
there.
mean, yeah, the whole context of a paradigm shift is based off of the foundational principle that John's talking about. And another way to articulate the idea of energy is understanding what you're connected to and through first. So the paradigm shift for me, instead of getting more energy, was what am I doing to interfere with the omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing source that I'm connected to and through, this thing that I call bigger than me, knows everything, has all power, and loves me more than my mom, which will protect and promote me by indicating fear in my life to pay attention or raise my awareness. And so I that's why I actually developed the 5 daily practices, is exactly what Jon's talking about, because he talked about knowing your trajectory. See, in order to implement this idea of energy, which aggregates, compounds, and accelerates on itself, which is the 3 physical characteristic of energy, whether it's money, behavior, whatever it may be, energy aggregates, compounds, gives you exponential outcomes, and accelerates faster outcomes, which actually pleases human nature. And so if we want to please our human nature, we want to know what we want each day in the trajectory of what we think we want, who we can help and who can help us, creates less interference. And then in how we do it, utilizing that efficiency that Jon's talking about, by how productive is this? How accessible am I? Accessible to the energy and accessible to others to share the energy. And of course, how gracious am I? Am I able to find the light, the love, and the lessons and the pain, setbacks, failures, mistakes, setbacks that are indicating I'm interfering with my higher self or my potential that Jon is explaining to you? Then we can prioritize our day. But the key aspect in the 5th daily practice is to identify the interference. And so if you can shift your paradigm, no pun intended, Craigie Siegel, if you can shift your paradigm to, hey, wait a second, I am, that's it. What am I doing to interfere with it? I am happy, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am worthy. What am I doing to interfere with it? When pain, setbacks, failures, mistakes, what's called an egotistical mind, as Eckhart Tolle would talk about, this conscious that creates interference between the source. If we can practice identifying every day the 8, 9, 10 times that we have a need to be angry, upset, frustrated, guilty, anxious, resentful, offended, separate, inferior, superior. And trust me, Craig, this is an area that when I coach you, I specifically hone in to help you identify the egotistical mind. And it's not just thinking you're better. There's a variety. Most people actually have an inferiority or an imposter or a worthiness problem. They actually think they're less than, and they don't recognize when they're interfering with more than. And so we want people to identify it, stop, just like Jon said, just stop. Remind yourself, remember, and recollect, where do I want to be, and get into that practice. And then that energy is constant. What's not constant is the length of time in which you interfere with that energy. And then we get to be efficient, effective, and statistically successful. We get extraordinary aggregation, exponential outcomes, and accelerated outcomes in our life. And everybody thinks you're lucky. And I'll just tell you, I'm really lucky to be here with Siegel Poo and Jon, because you guys have shifted the paradigm for me and so many others.
Yeah, this is awesome, straight up. And a word that comes to mind based on both what you guys said is feedback. Pay attention to how you're feeling, and then you have an opportunity to transform from reactive to proactive, and maybe manipulate so you can
Yeah,
things
and a lot of people listening to this, they wouldn't even know where to start at all, because they haven't developed the skill of tuning in and being aware of the present moment, what your thoughts are doing, and that they don't even know that your thoughts aren't even you. We're not our thoughts. Our thoughts will trick us, they'll manipulate us, they'll get us to believe false beliefs and achieve things that we actually don't even want to achieve deep down. And so it's important to develop that skill of listening and tuning into our intuition and our higher self, so to speak. And that is a very difficult thing in the beginning, because we have no reference point, we have no idea what we're doing. And that's why things like meditation, doing a breath work session, 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, whatever you can do, will really quiet down the mind, and it will get you to understand the difference between thoughts and the awareness behind the thoughts, the silent awareness, the person, the consciousness that is you, is separate from all that noise that comes from thinking and from the external environment and the world and people, family around you. And so getting into a practice that works for you, whether it's meditation, guided breath work, anything else, even cold exposure that actually forces you into the present moment. That's the key, getting into the present moment where there is no thought. If you are actually in the present moment for real, your mind is quiet. You're completely quiet. You go out in nature and all you can do is just be. There's nothing else. You're not thinking about, the texture of the trees. You're just there. And if you're thinking, you're not actually on the present level that you actually need to be to understand this practice. And so it's something that needs to be done and tried quite often. But when you get there, it's going to become second nature, and you can analyze your thoughts, your days so much more efficiently, and then you can manifest very, very productively from there.
Yeah, so Smart, I want to say hi to Clinton Sparks, though. He's on here. What's going on, Clinton? Another way to look at being present, because it's so confusing to people. It's woo-woo, it's spiritual. Just be present, Jon. And two things come to mind to help people. One is simply prioritization. If you're prioritizing your now and your next, then you're present. That means that you know what's important to you and a trajectory where you think you want to be. You've thought about the meaning of the lessons of the past in order to effectuate a better future for yourself, but you're present when you're prioritizing. That's why prioritization is the antidote to procrastination, which is not indicative of being present, or feeling overwhelmed, which is absolutely not being present. Another way to look at it is when we're present, we only have one step. We only have one step. So when you look within, you only have one step within. See, when you start looking to the past or looking to the future outside of being present, not only is fear in the egoistic mind, but there's too many steps, which makes us procrastinate or makes us feel overwhelmed because we're thinking about too many steps. When we're present, you only are thinking about one step. And so either make sure you're confirming your own reality, your own idea of present by saying, am I capable of knowing what I'm doing now, saying now, thinking now, believing now, and feeling now? Or am I in multiple feelings, actions, words, thoughts of the past or the future in order to effectuate staying in the present, which will be indicative or confirmed by prioritization, knowing what your now is and knowing what to do next, or say, think, or believe, or feel next.
This is so deep. These are my favorite types of conversations. This is awesome. Dave, we'll land the plane with this one.
That's the
Saturday.
John. That's the Craig Siegel move. You got to practice it. I do it on stages all the time. Like, hello, everyone.
I like it.
Of course, I call it.
Give you credit for it, Dave. Okay, Johnny, I was checking out your content, as everybody should immediately follow this conversation. And I saw a quote that you posted, and I think this is really good for everybody listening today. We're going to repurpose this conversation as well. And you wrote, a life without hardship is a life without joy. I thought that was really beautiful. Can you tell us what you mean by that?
What I mean by that is the more difficult something is, the more you're going to grow from it in general. And a lot of people have this false idea that happiness is just a constant state of joy, just that never changes. And that's how you get into, overindulgence, addiction, and all these things. It's because you believe you have to be at a certain level of joy and pleasure at all times, which is not true at all. Just like most systems in our body, it goes, the higher down you go, or the lower down you go, the higher up you go as well. And this works in terms of hardship to growth, curves as well. The lower you feel in terms of, soul pain and hardship, and just questioning reality, questioning yourself, your purpose, the deepest struggles a human can face, like losing someone you love, or losing your life purpose, not knowing what you're gonna do, going broke, being homeless. All these things forces you to look very deep into your soul, what you believe about reality, what you believe about yourself. And the lower you go in that sense, the higher you're going to be able to climb back up, because it's those hardships that will make you shift your mindset into a much more powerful version of yourself that will lead you to succeed way beyond what you thought was possible. So that's what I mean by that.
Yeah, I can confirm. This hits
Yeah, I
home
mean,
for
I've
me. How
lived
about you,
it.
Dave?
And what's interesting about my journey from the comfort zone, learning zone, and anxiety zone, which are three concentric circles that help me indicate where these struggles are, that help me grow, so I create a greater strength in a certain area. It was 2 years before I lost over $100 million that really was that bottom for me, that awakening for me. And it was when my wife was the fourth person beyond my mom, my dad, and my best friend to tell me how screwed up I was, even though had everything on the outside that everybody wanted, running Lee Steinberg, the notable sports agency, we're multi-millionaire, beautiful family. But meanwhile, my wife was the one that woke me up by saying, "Hey, I'm worried about you. You're going to end up dead. I'm leaving you because I'm not going to hang out to see it." And the interesting thing is, 2 years later, when I lost over $100 million because of the causes I put into my life, I actually proved what John's talking about, that I had shifted my values, practices, execution model. I changed my mindset, heart set, and handset, that I was capable of handling this huge thing that would knock everyone else out. But thank God my wife knocked me out 2 years earlier so I could be prepared to quickly recover. You know, it only took me 2 weeks to make my first million after I lost over 100 million. I was really tough in the mind, heart, and hands. But I can't imagine if it was something like a bankruptcy, how difficult that would be as an awakening instead of something as important as my relationship with my wife and family. So 100% agree. I wish I could teach John and Craig. I wish I could teach people, how to create this greater awakening without great struggle. But I haven't been able to. It's remarkable when I meet someone that's so enlightened and they tell me, "Oh no, nothing, nothing significantly bad has ever happened to me. I just kind of get it." But the Sadhgurus of the world and the Master Shahs and the Deepaks, they'll tell you that their awakening came from struggle as well. But I would love to meet like some superhero out there that was like, "No, I just kind of started reading stuff. My life was awesome, but now I'm awakened." It's very, very, very rare. Anyway, I know everybody wants to get going. Thank you both so much. I appreciate you both.
Thank you so much for having me on. It was
Yeah.
a pleasure.
John, this was so
For
much
sure.
fun. We got to do some more stuff together. I know the audience is going to love you in 2 seconds. What's the best way for everybody to support you? What are you most
Well,
excited
right
about right now?
now, the easiest way to keep up to date with what I'm doing is here on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. I've been very busy with personal stuff, so I haven't been posting that much online. But, life seasons up and down, and soon I'll get back to sharing a lot more stuff. So Instagram is the best.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for your time, brother. Thank you, Dave. Love you
Love you,
both.
man.
Let's have an
Thank you,
unbelievable
everyone.
weekend, guys.
All
Nice
right.
to meet you, John. Talk to you soon.
Bye,
Nice to meet
guys.
you.
Take
Bye
care.
bye. Take
Happy
care.
birthday, Craig.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Hell yeah. What an awesome conversation, guys. If you weren't familiar with John before this conversation, definitely go check out all the cool stuff he's got going on. Great perspectives. Love his mindset. Big Dave, as always, thank you so much. Thank you guys all so much for the birthday love. It's been almost overwhelming. I know it's more of abundance, but trying to get back to everybody, and it's going to take a few days. But it really melts my heart. It feels good. Guess it's a good indication that I'm making an impact on so many, and we're just getting warmed up. But I appreciate you guys very much. I love you all. If you want to do one thing for me, you can leave a 5-star review on our podcast sales experience. But most importantly, have a great weekend. Journal, sharpen the axe, and set yourself up for having an unbelievable week next week. And stack those magical moments. Be very mindful and present, because as Dave was saying earlier, and John, mindfulness is the portal to expansion. You dig? The Reinvention Formula book coming out August 15th may or may not be available for pre-order right now. Love you guys.